Alrighty, everyone. Before we get started, let me remind everyone to please turn off cell phones during news conferences. Additionally, flash photography is not permitted. Welcome to Stanford's press conference. Stanford's sports information contact is Wilder Treadway. Joining us on the podium are head coach Tara Vanderveer and student athletes Fran Beliebe, Lacey Hull, and Anna Wilson. We'll start with questions for the student athletes. As a reminder, please state your name and affiliation at the beginning of your question, and please limit yourself to one question, at most one follow-up. If you're on the Zoom call, raise your hand and I will call on you and unmute you if time permits. Questions for the student athletes? There's a microphone coming.
Peter Goffin, KZSU Radio. Every team has a little bit of a different identity, even if many of the players have returned. What in particular would you say is different about this team in this year than last?
Who's the question for?
Any of you?
Okay. I'd say that the identity of this team is definitely experience, but it's also the way that we play defense. It's also just the idea that, last year kind of going through a COVID year and a lot of us coming back and then people coming in, I think it's just a really good mixture of a lot of different talent, and I think we just kind of buy into that. And so I wouldn't say we have one identity in particular. I think there's a lot of things that we can do, but yeah, I think a lot of it is experience and the people that coming in, just doing their part. So.
Hi, ladies. Janie McCauley, Associated Press. Lacey, I guess I'll start with you. But does this feel more like a normal year? That Stanford's used to hosting the first two rounds, and last season was just so different. And now you're up here on your own campus and get to play on your home court for the first two rounds again.
Yeah, we were kind of talking about it on the walk over because Fran has never experienced this because we didn't have it our sophomore year either. And so I've only had it my freshman year. It's definitely feeling more like normal. I don't really know what normal is anymore, though, because that was only one of three. But it definitely feels good to be back at Maples for the first two rounds, and it's exciting to have all of our fans to be able to come to those games, too.
Anna, I guess maybe you want to touch on that as well, just because it's a special place to get to be on your home court.
Yeah, there was one year where we didn't have an NCAA tournament here because of gymnastics, and then the other year, obviously, COVID happened. But I would say that it's just really exciting to play in front of Stanford fans. Having another opportunity to do that, and obviously hosting is a really great thing for our team, and being able to have familiar faces in the stands and everything. So before moving on to any other stage of the tournament. So it's just really exciting to be playing in Maples.
Zach Kaplan, I'm with ABC Fox Montana. Just for all three of you, I'm just wondering what you've seen from Montana State so far on film and what stands out about their game to each of you.
Start with me. Yeah, I think it's definitely an interesting challenge. We know that they're really aggressive on defense, kind of in a way we were told like Colorado, and then again like shooters on the outside in a way kind of like Utah. So we know that we're preparing for two teams that we've already played in one team in a way, and so we're really excited for the challenge and opportunity.
Yeah, I think in film and stuff we've just been kind of focusing on, they have great talent, they have great players, and so today especially we're going to focus in on the scout there and really lock in on the defense that we're planning on using. So.
Yeah, I think Montana State, obviously they're in the tournament, so they're a great team. We're really focused as well on scouting report, but also just on ourselves. And so if we come out and play Stanford basketball, we should be good.
Hi everyone, Kate Rooney, Cron 4 TV. This is for any of you guys. What is your mindset right now when you guys are alone together? Like when you're in your locker room, finish the season the way you wanted it to? Do you have a sense of confidence, energy, nervous energy, a combination of all three? If you could just describe kind of how you're feeling as a group.
I would say that there's definitely a little bit of all three. There's energy. There's, I think, a sense of confidence that we know if we play our game, we're capable of anything we want to achieve. And so I think that there's like a sense of unity, and we have this vision, we have this goal, and I think there's that like cohesive mindset and vision, and I think that we're really excited to get started on the games.
We're going to take one from the Zoom real quick. Anne, if you want to unmute yourself, you can ask your question.
Ann Killian with the San Francisco Chronicle. This is for Anna. Haley keeps racking up the awards, and I'm just wondering if you, as kind of the team's elder statesman, can talk about, she came in as such a huge recruit, and then, of course, last year she really came up huge in the tournament. Just how have you seen her grow and kind of handle this attention and focus? When the ESPN selection show started, she was the first person they showed, the first player, and you guys all cheered. But how has she kind of grown into this role?
Well, you can't see her, but she's right here in the back. But Haley's a tremendous teammate. Obviously, she's a great player. But really, she elevates everyone else, who's on the court and in the locker room. And so, obviously, I'm very grateful to be able to play aside her. And I think, we've talked about this before, but, the awards and everything, whether she gets them or doesn't, that doesn't really determine her value or her worth. And so, I'm just really proud of her, and, she's going to do great in the tournament.
Yeah, just in Ben Parker, CardinalSportsReport.com here. Just in general for the players, just how much confidence do you take going into this tournament, knowing that you guys won it last year and went through? Does it feel different starting out a tournament as a defending champions? More pressure, but also do you take more confidence from that as well, knowing that you have gone through the fire and come out on top?
I think that while, yes, there is some sort of confidence that comes from having won because you know what it takes to get there, this is a completely different season, a different team. And so I think that we have that in the back of our minds, but not really, we can't really rely on anything from last season. So we're focused on each game as it is.
Hi, Abby Converse from the Stanford Daily. Earlier you talked about being back in Maples and how Stanford fans really make it better to play here. On the Go Stanford website, it shows that the men's basketball student section is actually in a different location than your student section. They're a bit closer to the court and closer to center court. How do you think that the distance of your student fans really impacts your game either on and off the court?
I would say that, obviously we love when students can make it to the games. I think that in order to have the athletes closer and whatnot, I think there's a lot more kind of going into that than what we can speak to. But of course, like any time that we can have a lot of students there, and obviously right now with student break and everything, or spring break, it'll have a different kind of vibe and everything. But I hope that more students can come in the future, and whatever those things that make it a little different, hopefully we can see changes and everything. So yeah.
Hi, Zach Zaffron with the Stanford Daily. To close the Pac-12 regular season, you guys had some close games, but in the Pac-12 tournament, you guys were nothing short of, to put it bluntly, dominant. How important is it to carry momentum like that entering into the tournament?
I think it's really important. I think just kind of having that in the back of our minds, what we're capable of doing and what we know we can do. But every game, like Lacey said, is a new game, and so it's a new step and something we have to prepare for differently and continue to prepare for. So it's nice to be able to carry that momentum. But now we've seen what we can do and what we're capable of, and so that just kind of shows us what we need to keep doing.
Kind of a fun question for all three of you, but Montana itself, a lot of people have been moving there over the course of the pandemic. They watch Yellowstone, they watch Big Sky. I'm wondering, for all three of you, what are your impressions of Montana? Have any of you have ever been to the state? What do you know about the state? That's for anyone who wants to answer it.
Well, my dad travels to Montana a lot for work. I've been there a few times. I think it's beautiful. It's kind of a hidden gem. I don't know much about it, but I think there's a lot of pretty places.
Yep, what she said.
Never been, but I'll take Lacey's word for it.
Last season, so much came up about the inequities between the men's and women's tournaments, and Stanford had a role in that, and some courage to speak up. And I guess I would be curious what you three have noticed this time around. I know you haven't traveled yet for the tournament, but maybe the swag bags are better. I guess maybe a few thoughts from each of you, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, I think, kind of going into this tournament, we obviously kind of have our antennas up. Obviously, our main focus is doing well in the tournament and being able to see the changes that hopefully are made by continuing to win. I think that it is obviously with a lot of hope that there have been a lot of changes made, and hopefully there are no excuses for why it would be any different. So, yeah.
I mean, it's Women's History Month. It's the 50th anniversary of Title IX this year, so there's kind of a lot is expected, I think, especially with what happened last year. And like Anna said, our goal is to keep winning, to hopefully see what changes are made, and if changes are being made, and just the hope is that changes are being made and will be made, and so we can only just try to hope and see that.
Yeah, I think echoing all of that, we also are really grateful for Tara and her efforts for making those changes, and so I think that it's exciting, and that we're looking forward to hopefully seeing positive change happen and continue to happen. Yeah, I think it's a little early to tell. I think that those changes happen a little bit further down the road. We haven't really got into our swag bags yet, so we'll get back to you on that one.
You guys have touched on Maple Sylvan, how much you guys enjoy playing there. I'm kind of asking a question from a different angle here. In the men's tournament, it's all neutral site all the way through. But for you guys get home court advantage, for the first couple of rounds at least, right? So just talk about kind of the difference there and kind of your thoughts on a format where you do get rewarded for home court, kind of like what the NBA does.
There's definitely an advantage to having home court. And I think that last season obviously is an example of playing on a neutral court. Obviously with COVID, there's a minimum of fans that can come, or a maximum of fans that can come. And so I think that obviously for people who haven't experienced the NCAA tournament, they'll probably hear that or see that or feel that energy by having familiar faces in the stands, and maybe there'll be a higher level of comfort because of that. But I think that NCAA game is a game, and you win or lose whether or not they're fans or not. So yeah, I think that it's just a really cool experience to be able to have home fans in the stands.
All right. I think we have time for one more question for the student athletes.
Abby Converse, Stanford Daily. This is just to bring it a little bit more back to your guys' regular season and what's happening on campus here. They sent out a Title IX gender inequity feedback form a few months ago, and I was just wondering if you guys had filled it out or planned to fill it out.
I don't read my emails, but I will. I will get back to that one. And yeah, I'll for sure fill it out and make sure our voice is heard.
Thank you, Fran, Lacey, and Anna. You are free to go, and we'll ask some questions for
Thank you.
Coach Vanderveer now. As a reminder, please state your name and affiliation at the beginning of each question, even if you're asking a follow-up question for the transcription. Questions for Coach Vanderveer?
Tara, Zach Kaplan with ABC Fox Montana. Just wondering.
I've been to Montana.
I guess we'll start with that. What have your experiences been like in Montana, and what stood out to you about the state? I know you know a little bit more than the two of them.
First of all, 406. I love Montana. Jocelyn Tinkle recruited her from Missoula, and I've driven through it. I have a cabin in Minnesota. I've gone up and done clinics on the Salish Kootenai reservation. Beautiful, beautiful country. We're really excited. We've played Montana before in the NCAA tournament, and I believe it's the first time we've played Montana State, but we're really excited to play Montana State. And what a tremendous job Trish has done with her team, and we know there are great fans in Montana, and they love their basketball.
And just to follow up with that, on the court, what have you seen from them on tape so far, and what are you expecting to see tomorrow night from them?
Well, I've noticed a lot of things. I've watched a number of their games. They have a great. They're led by an outstanding point guard that gets to the free throw line a lot. They're really good shooters, inside outside game. They have depth, very well coached team. Very scrappy, aggressive team, and if they get down, they're not out. All the things that really I think typify championship teams. They're coming off of a great championship in the Big Sky, and we'll have to play very well to advance, and we know that.
Hey, it's Zach Saffron, Stanford Daily. I know you want to take it one game at a time, but by the nature of the tournament, you have to remain prepared. What's your philosophy on, scouting out these teams further down in the bracket?
What I tell our team is, with our coaches, basically, we never look ahead, but we have to plan ahead. So our coaches have mapped out the whole bracket, the whole tournament in terms of who they scout, and they can't wait until tomorrow. If we're successful tomorrow, we have to be ready for the next game. So the coaches are working ahead. I work by the bracket. I just look at who's in the bracket and try to figure out what are the things that So for us to get ready for the bracket, the four teams, the three additional teams that are in our bracket, and we have a great bracket here. Hopefully that you'll get a chance to watch the first game with Georgia Tech and Kansas. Just really, really talented teams. The whole tournament is really deep. So we definitely, with our team, we're focused totally on Montana State, and we just go one game, one possession at a time.
Tom Wiley, MontanaSports.com. Speaking of Montana, Jocelyn is now a coach with the Grizzlies. She's faced Montana State twice. Have you been in touch with her this week and have those conversations? What have they gone like?
I got a text from Josh just wishing us good luck. She's in the conference, and so it would not be, I don't think, ethical to talk to her about playing against their own conference. But I think, she wishes us good luck because she was a Stanford alum. But, it's difficult when when a conference team is playing another team. Like for me, Arizona's playing UNLV. Like, who do I root for? I want the conference team to do really well, but I love Lindy. So I think it's kind of that kind of situation for Jocelyn. But, we're watching as many games as I can. Thank goodness for, synergy. And they have an outstanding team, and we just have to do our work to get ready. Jocelyn, I'm just really proud of her and really glad. At first I thought we were going to be playing them. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going to be playing Josh's team. Then I realized that she was at Montana. But we're really excited to play Montana State.
Ben Parker, CardinalSportsReport.com. Coach, both Haley Jones and Cameron Brink were named AP All-Americans this week. Could you just talk about what they mean to this program, what they've meant to the team this year?
Well, it's a tremendous, tremendous honor for both of them to be named AP All-American players, and both of them have had great years. And I would also say that the supporting cast has really, whether it's Anna, Lexi, Lacey, Hannah Jump, Fran, the depth of our team is, I think, why I'm sitting here. We are led by Cam and Haley. They're tremendous talents, and we're really proud of them. I'm also proud of the fact that Lexi and Lacey were named COSIDA Academic All-Americans. And what I tell our team is that awards come for people when your team does well. Kate Pay was named Assistant Coach of the Year this week. So, when your team does well, then people are given individual awards. But I know that everyone knows that the big picture is how our team does. And Haley and Cam are extremely unselfish players. They're very talented, but they know that it's that they don't do it by themselves.
Hi, Tara. Janie McCauley from AP. Nice to see you. Tara, Lacey was just saying we can't rely on anything from last season. Do you appreciate that approach? I mean, it's a fresh slate now, but also look back and know how this team grew from that experience, that you get to come home and not take for granted that you're on your home court the first 2 rounds again, and just everything that they went through to get to this point.
Well, not only did they go through all that last year, but think of the year before when we sat down on March 13th, I believe, and said, there's no NCAA tournament. So I know that our team really, and our coaches, we really appreciate this opportunity. We are, we already referenced kind of the disparity from last year, but we are really thankful for the opportunity to play in the NCAA tournament and for all the work that goes into this tournament, that the staff, the NCAA staff, and all the people that are associated with the tournament do. It's a tremendous, tremendous undertaking, and it's a great opportunity for our team. And, going through it last year in a different way and shape, I think we appreciate it this way too.
And Tara, along the lines of the disparities that I asked your young women here, can you see any hints yet that things will be better on the women's side? And do you look back and really take some pride in the fact that your program stood up for it?
Well, already you see the March Madness, which to me is like, how hard was that, right? But whether it's March Madness or having 68 teams, I think that they're going to have to, and the NCAA, we did a Zoom with, President Mark Emmert, with Lynn Holzman, Dan Gavitt, and basically they said, we have a long way to go, but we can't wait 50 more years, so we need to see those changes, and, it can't be the hot dogs for the girls and steak for the boys, and I think the outrage that the video by Ali Kirshner or Sedona Prince or the articles in the New York Times, the congressional hearings, I think has everyone's attention. And even you referenced the Stanford gender equity. I hope all the women on our team open their emails and respond. There are things that are just so business as usual that whether it's the concerts that were at the men's tournament, not at the women's tournament, whether it's even at the Pac-12 level, where all the meetings for the presidents and provosts or trustees are always at the men's tournament. Why not flip it between men's and women's tournament? So we do have work to do, but I'm hoping, and we're really optimistic that we're going in the right direction and we're going to move quickly.
Hi, Tara. Kate Rooney, Cron 4 TV.
Hi, Kate.
I know that one of your philosophies is not to dwell on the things you've already done well in the past, but how do you take the successes you've had this season, such as in the Pac-12 tournament, and use them to your advantage and kind of harness that here now as the stakes get higher?
Well, Kate, I think that's a great question. I mean, nothing succeeds like success. So, when you have been successful, I think you can lean on that success. It's not that you can just show up and think you can just play without, but you've battled, you know what you have to do. When you've gone to the Final Four and you've won games by 1 point in each game, it's like that you do build a kind of a reserve tank that you have to dip into sometimes. And we had to dip into it this year with the games that we've played. But it's not just last year what we've done. We really scheduled very tough this year, playing at South Carolina, playing at Tennessee, playing at Gonzaga, playing, in the tournament with Maryland, playing Texas. So we feel we're battle tested. Can I just, I just wanted to put something out there, and Wilder is going to help me. I'm not sure. There you are, Wilder. One of the coaches that's here from Georgia Tech is Nell Fortner, who was my assistant at the Olympics. And about 26 years ago, about now, Nell and I were in the city of Kyiv. And I know other coaches and all of you in this room, we're in this little basketball bubble, but I want to put a challenge out to other coaches, to our fans, to everyone in here. My sister's already accepted the challenge. I'd like to donate to the Ukraine Humanitarian Fund, and I'm not sure which fund it will be yet, $10 for every 3-point made in the NCAA women's tournament. So Dayton is already costing me some money, but I just want to hope that men's coaches, women's coaches, women's fans, that, especially for Nell and I, when I see Nell, I know that, we'll go back to a great time. And I'd like to tell a quick story of what happened when our team was in Ukraine. We played the Ukraine national team at least 10 times. I would call them our cousins because we saw them in so many tournaments and played against them. So maybe I have an affinity for the country, and watching what's happening has been really very hard. But when our team was leaving Ukraine, women at 3:30 in the morning were begging outside of our bus. And our team emptied their suitcases, emptied their wallets, and just were very generous. And I hope that our NCAA tournament, I hope people can make a lot of threes, and that I can be very generous. And I hope that other people will get on board with this challenge. And I'm going to ask Wilder after every NCAA, tournament day to post how much I owe. And I'd like people to match the challenge.
Thank you, Coach Vanderveer. Any final questions?
Did I get any takers? Even if it's a dime a three. I'm going $10 a three.
I'm in too, Coach.
Thank you.
A recording of this press conference will be available in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at www.ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. All right.